Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd.
This week in the astrology, it brings on some changing points, some shifting points, brings on some clarity points. Also, there are some different layers happening here, and we are in between a full moon and a new moon. So we're letting go of some old cycles and letting in the new ones. So very interesting week, and I am definitely excited to be here today to get the message out as we start the week off. We have the planet of Venus just recently shifting from the sign of Libra into Scorpio. And last week I was chatting about this, talking about just what she does when she moves into these different signs. And that's kind of the name of the game as these planets move from sign to sign through the 12 signs of the zodiac in astrology. They're then bringing influence to the sign and also are influenced by the characteristics of the sign that they're moving through. And so that's now the planet of Venus, our planet of love and creativity and artistry and relationships and money and trust and value systems. Venus represents so much. She is the cosmic feminine energy that we have in the planetary lineup of energies. And in Scorpio, this is a deeper energy. This is where we go when we have some contemplation to do. And Scorpio brings in deeper themes and allows us to explore the depth that we truly are. We are such deep creatures. And of course, this is layered, and Scorpio brings in emotion. And so we really feel the fullness of our emotional body and have access to that fullness and variation. And Scorpio is a water sign. All the water signs are known for this activation of emotions. And this is also a feminine energy. Water signs and water energy in astrology is a feminine energy. And so she is in a place where she can bring her light and her love and her artistry, Venus, into these deeper, darker, more contemplative places. And so Venus takes a month or 5 weeks or so normally to move through a sign. And so this is energy that we'll be working with for a little bit of time. She is pretty much at maximum speed. So she's going to be transitioning into the sign of Sagittarius soon enough. So while we have these energies available to us, it's really important. And that's what astrology can guide, how astrology can guide us is saying, okay, these are energies that are available right now. And so Venus themes, especially relationships, love, money, these are big themes in life. It's not necessarily easy things. And so when we go to these deep places, it's like kind of dredging some things up. And this can be tough. This can be not always super easy, but it is something that needs to be done. You know, take a deep dive and look at these themes in your life right now and how are things going there. So that is Venus's movement into the sign of Scorpio. And then as we enter the week, we are feeling and have been really feeling for probably a couple of weeks moving into it, if not a month coming into Neptune stationing direct. When any planet stations retrograde or direct, it is just a powerful time for that planet. And so this planet of Neptune is stationing direct, sitting still at 25 degrees of Pisces. This is a spot where we have already been earlier this year, a retrograde. We are going back and doing something again. We are looking at a past situation, past events, going into territory we have already covered once again to make edits, to review things, to put things back in place, reorder things, and to make changes and to see where we might have made some mistakes. And we go back and we review these things and we move forward when we finally pop into a direct motion. So Neptune, the themes around this is really all about, again, emotions and being sensitive, the sensitivity and empathy that the sign of Pisces represents is held within Neptune. And this retrograde that Neptune's been doing has been happening in the sign of Pisces. So very much an emotional energy and feeling out the themes of closure. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac, so very much represents closure, things that we are trying to bring to an end, tying up these loose ends. And this is something Neptune's movement through a sign is slow. And so this is many years in the making when a planet reaches the end of a sign, as Neptune is doing. We are finishing up some work that we've been doing for a while, but this retrograde cycle within 2023, this is all really in the 25 to 28 degree zone of Pisces. So look at how you sort of take this information and apply it to your own personal life. Is you do that by utilizing and knowing a little bit and maybe having even printed out and referencing your own natal astrology chart. That is where the planets were on the moment of your birth, and that is a signature that you hold and carry with you, and also a way that the planets interact with you and your personal points. And so you look 28 to 25 degrees of Pisces. Do I have any planets or points there? And this is going to be included in your retrograde experience and involved in what you are going back and reviewing. Also, what house is that? What house is included there in that area, and what area of your life is this going to be really exhibiting itself in? No matter what, Neptune, just in general, represents so many mystical things. This is like everything that is out in the ethers is represented by Neptune. Everything that doesn't make sense, everything that's mysterious, and everything that really is like illusory, causes illusion or even delusion. This is a dreamy state. This is a watery, mystical, psychic, sensitive, dreamy state. And Neptune is also a representation of utter and complete limitless, with no boundaries, withholding no boundaries. This is unconditional love at its very highest representation, the power that Neptune brings along with it. As Neptune stations direct or retrograde, or any planet stations retrograde or direct, the planet appears to sit still in the zodiac, in the sky. And so it gives an opportunity to bring clarity to anything that the retrograde has been bringing up for you. And so it's a good time to tune in with the planetary energy, tune in with this time period. What's been going on over the past, this has been since June 30th is when Neptune went retrograde at 28 degrees of Pisces. There was a shadow period even 2 months before that, where we were going through in May and April, and even the latter parts of March of 2023, we were going over some things. Some things were coming up for us. And now, as the planet of Neptune revisits this area of the zodiac, these themes are brought back up for us. And it's very much going to be apparent in our lives. And hopefully we can find some clarity to be able to know how to take some steps forward. And moving into the future, there has been some knowledge gained, yet we're still sitting very still, and there may not be an ability or a feeling of wanting to even take steps forward quite yet. It's kind of like, hey, I'm still just sitting in it. I'm still, the dust has settled, and now I'm just taking in the view. After all, we are in Sagittarius season, and we are taking in the view right now. That is part of Sagittarius energy, is just like seeing the grander vision of your life, of a situation, seeing from different perspectives. And Sagittarius has some big energy with Mars there right now. Mars and the Sun are now finally separating 5 degrees, still pretty close, but separating some. And so a lot of that hot, fiery, irritable energy hopefully has moved on, and the Sun's going to be blazing on, and Mars is going to be in the sign of Sagittarius for a while, diving into some of these adventures, sparking some new physical activity in the terms of Sagittarius themes, knowledge, the gaining of higher knowledge. You might find yourself signing up for some college level classes or some higher learning opportunities, for something that you've been wanting to take an adventure or do something or dive into. Sagittarius is also all about honesty and the truths that we can find and that come upon us. There could be some truth telling, some truth seeking, I just want to find the answer. And so Sagittarius season has a really fun energy to it. It's all ruled by the planet of Jupiter. Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus right now, very comfortable with the legs kind of kicked up in retrograde. And so this is a time also as we approach the new moon in Sagittarius next week. That's going to be on Wednesday, Tuesday, December 12th here on the Pacific West Coast. But that is, slowing us down, bringing us down from that full moon in Gemini energy into a place where we are, kind of closing off that cycle and looking at some new things, looking at making some new intentions and doing focusing our energies in different ways. And that is something we'll talk about in next week's show. But pay attention. Pay attention to things around you right now. And that is very important because we are also entering a Mercury retrograde period, and Mercury is already in his shadow. This is a time where things can tend to slow down a little bit in terms of communication and transportation, and even our errands getting place to place, and there can be a lot of technical problems when Mercury's in retrograde, just trouble getting one thing from here to there, whether that be a communication or yourself or whatever it is, whatever busybody thing it is. Mercury is the planet of mercado, of the markets, of actual markets. When you break it down that heavy and deep, you can see where some of these themes come from. So So, I mean, shopping and all of these types of activity, just market activity, supply and demand, all that stuff slows down during Mercury retrograde, and it's noticeable. So this is a time to pay attention because these are things we're going to be revisiting in January. We have a little bit of a slowdown happening. So make sure to take care of all the things that you need to early on and make sure that you have, I'm seriously meaning this and not just saying it because of the season, but I mean, major lists and check them twice and gone over things because the Mercury retrograde over the Christmas time could just kind of slow things down a little bit. So a little bit of a little Stacey Dread Galactic Ambassador pre-warning. My prediction is that this could be a little bit of a slower one. So just take care of things early. And this is also because there's a little bit of an air energy void. We don't have a lot of air energy, which moves things around in the chart. And we won't actually be getting any big flow of air energy until January. And I wanted to just take a second because the astrology really does slow down this week as Mercury stations retrograde. We got Neptune stationing direct, which slows the planet of Neptune down. Both Chiron and Jupiter are going to be stationing direct within the month of December also. And so planet's starting to slow down. And so I wanted to sort of look ahead a little bit at another date that is coming up that I think is going to be a huge shift come January 20th, 21st of 2024. When I say there is a void of energy in the air, I just mean that every sign represents an element, whether that be fire, water, earth, or air. And so we have a healthy mix of fire energy, earth energy, water energy, and we are not actually seeing a lot of air. And so this is kind of making things feel a little stagnant. Could even feel like there's not a lot of air in the room available. It's like there's not a lot of breathing room. There's not a lot of movement in communication within relationships. Air signs rule relationships, and so relationships and movement in relationships feels kind of slow. Conversations just in general are slow and either like not happening or just are happening really slowly. And it's feeling a little bit crowded without a little more air energy available. And this goes on through the Mercury retrograde period and through January until we hit a very special time in 2024 that really in astrology we've been talking about for years to come, because this is the movement of Pluto into the sign of Aquarius. And we are looking forward to Pluto leaving the sign of Capricorn behind. And this is only because we need to move on. We need to move on from things sometimes. And Pluto is the slowest moving energy in the chart. And so it's like we beg for that new, fresh energy. And Aquarius is an air sign. And at the same exact moment within the same 24-hour period that Pluto moves out of the sign of Capricorn on January 20th, 21st, depending on where you are on the planet, the sun is doing the same thing. This is the first day of Aquarius season, and I see this as kind of like a liftoff. The other personal planets are hanging back behind in Capricorn and Sagittarius, but the sun has zipped on ahead, is joining the planet of Pluto for the movement into Aquarius, like a celebration, like, hey, I'm just like almost like your best friend showed up at the airport to see you off. And you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe you showed. This is awesome. This is the best send-off you could possibly have given me. And the sun, of course, is every planet's best friend because it's what holds that planet in its orbit and creates its entire life and reason for existence. And so I love this. And it's in the first month of 2024, which is going to make 2024 a brand new feeling year. Now, I did look ahead into the year, and Pluto does another retrograde, of course, in 2024, does a retrograde every year as the sun makes its movement back around the zodiac. But we are nearing the end of Pluto in Capricorn, and we are tying up loose ends. We are moving forward, and we are getting a breath of fresh air finally, but it does take a little bit of time. And then in 2024, just while I'm kind of hitting on it, there is another date, and that is in April 20th, 21st. And this is when Jupiter and Uranus are going to come into a conjunction. Another beautiful time we've been waiting for. They're both going to be moving direct and making a conjunction. And I want to just mention April 20th and 21st, because I know that there's people that, are putting this stuff in their brand new planners that they just got for next year. So April 20th, 21st, 2024, just know that there's going to be some big things, some earth-shattering events happening on that day. So anyways, lots to look forward to, and I love being here in the cosmic community to offer a perspective on it for you, and I hope that it's totally helpful, and I hope you have a good week, and I will be back next week to chat about more, and thank you very much. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.